Hi, here's one tip to stop feeling depressed. Now, there are people who are depressed because of chemical imbalances in their brain, and that's something that you have to see a psychiatrist about to help you with. But what I'm going to be talking about is the typical person who isn't a depressed person but is feeling feelings of depression, how to alleviate that or make it better. So, the tip that I'm going to be focusing on today in regards to how to stop feeling depressed is to change things up. And what do I mean by change things up? There are a lot of different ways that you can do this, and the reason that I'm focusing on that as a tip is because a lot of us, when we start feeling depressed, we get into a very simple, strict routine, and sometimes breaking out of that routine can do wonders for feeling depressed. So by changing things up, one thing I mean you can do is you can go outside, get some fresh air. This isn't necessarily going to be a quick fix like, oh, I'm outside now, everything's better. But it is going to give you a sense of refreshment, a sense of release from the confines of your room, and you'd be surprised how much that can uplift your spirit. So going outside, going for a walk, sitting outside, anything where you're not in the enclosed space of your home or your room can be helpful. The next thing that you can do to change things up is to look at your friends. Look at the people you surround yourself with. Look at your family. You can't necessarily change your family, but you can change the amount of time you spend with people that bring you down or are negative. So if you're feeling down and there are people who are down with you and feeling depressed and kind of looking at the negative side of things, that could be helpful for them to understand you, but after a certain point, it's going to keep you down and it's not going to uplift you. So these can be people who are depressed as well, or who are just kind of negative Nancy's, who put you down, who are cruel or mean or just insensitive sometimes, and that's not going to make you feel any better. In fact, it can contribute to making you feel worse. So it's important to surround yourself with people who care about you, who are kind, who are generous. This may sound like an impossible feat because how can you find the perfect person? You don't have to. Basically, just try and look at the people you surround yourself with and think of the people that uplift you and think of the people who bring you down. And try and move away a little bit from the people who bring you down. I'm not saying you should cut them out of your life completely because that might be impossible and it might be very difficult to do. Not that it's impossible over time, but very quickly it's not something you could do right away. So something you could do is just sort of distance yourself a little bit. Don't hang out with them as much. Don't respond to them as much. And then focus more of your energy on the people who are uplifting and more positive, and try and surround yourself with them. Now, you don't want to be surrounded necessarily by some sort of like super positive freak who's always happy, because that might bring you down even more because it feels unattainable. But definitely surround yourself with people who make you feel good about yourself. You don't want to be put down or surround yourself with people who are negative as much as you can. So that's another way you can change things up. A third way is that you can join groups or clubs or something to meet new people. So not necessarily just focusing on people you already know and who's more positive. Try and branch out and meet new people. Maybe people who share the same interests as you. Go to a club or go to a group that has people who enjoy the same things that you do or have something in common with you, and that way you could broaden your social group and meet new people. And that can be very exciting to make new connections. And I know that when we're feeling depressed, going out and meeting new people is one of the last things you feel like doing. And that's why it's not easy, but you definitely have to give yourself that push and tell yourself it could really be worth it. And if you don't like how you're feeling now, then doing that can really make a difference. And if it can make you feel better than you are now, then why not give yourself that push, and why not motivate yourself to go out and try something new? So these are all ways that you can change up the situation you have currently. If you don't listen to music or if you don't write about how you feel, these are things you can add into your daily schedule. So if you want to write in a journal, change things up by, instead of just thinking about your problems, write it out, release it. It could be very cathartic, and it could really help you relieve some of those emotions that have been pent up inside. And listening to music is obviously a great way that you can also experience some release from your emotions. So these are all things that you could do to change things up if you haven't done them already, and hopefully start feeling a little bit better. Because we all get down sometimes, we all have hardships in our lives, but there are definitely things you could do to take control of how you feel and to make your situation better. Click the link below to learn more. Thank you.